Hello and welcome back to Detail Base. This week you join me in giving this Peugeot 107 its first wash in 6 months. Considering the last time this car was cleaned was March of this year, it doesn't actually look too dirty, and the reason behind that is because this car doesn't actually do too many miles. But seeing as in the last 6 months we've had several downpours of Saharan dust, this car could do with a bit of a clean up. So before we begin with the clean, I urge you to go and watch my previous video on this car where we applied some last stage protection on both the windows and the paintwork. So in this video we're going to see how both of those are holding up. So in this video the product captions are back to tell you exactly what products I'm using when. So the first thing we're using in this video is, again, Autoglanz tubes for the wheels. I gave this a bit of a review in my previous video where I said goodbye to my Volvo X60, so go and check that out if you haven't already. So like the previous video featuring this car, we're hitting the wheels with Valet Pro Bilberry, but this time we're using it neat. After a few pumps we're going to be applying that all over the wheel face and the tyre. Then we're going to be hitting the arches with Autoglanz Brut, roughly 1 to 20. I'm going to try and keep this video a bit shorter than usual, so I'm going to be speeding up some of the sections of this video to save time. I don't really like completely editing out sections, so I'd rather you see the whole process just sped up a little bit, but let me know what you think in the comments. I know we're only 2 minutes in, but if you like what you see, please consider leaving a like on the video as it helps the channel a lot. This week I thought we'd have a bit of a break for dedicated tyre cleaners, so we're using Koch-Chemie Green Star at 1 to 9. You can see that Bilberry has already done a pretty good job of cleaning the tyre walls already, but we're hitting it with the APC at the end just to make sure the tyres are absolutely perfect before our dressing goes on. It was a pretty hot day when I filmed this, so you can see me here just pre-wetting the panels before I apply my pre-wash, so it doesn't dry in the sun. I sit firmly in the pre-wash before pre-rinse camp, as I think applying pre-wash to a wet car is significantly diluting your product, but that's a video for another day. On a sunny day like today, I think it's much more important that you get the panel temperatures down and stop your pre-wash from drying out and potentially causing damage to your paint. Anyway, as you saw from the caption, this is Autoglanz Brut, used at approximately 1 to 20. So Autoglanz actually claim this can be used as a contactless wash as it says on the bottle. But I think this is more of a traffic film removing product, and this time of year I don't think there's much of the classic oily traffic film on cars. While I expect it'll be good in the winter, I don't really think in the summer months there's kind of any need for this kind of product given the level of dirt. So despite what I just said, there does seem to be some sort of traffic film looking substance and a bit of grease you can see pouring down from the middle of the door, so Brut has actually handled this quite well. Although from this angle you can see the sort of dusty looking drips dripping down from the mirror section there, and when you see the water leave the panel from where Brut has been, it doesn't seem to have made much of a difference. So it seems that this kind of dirt can only be removed by the contact wash. I never really know what to expect from pre-washes. Sometimes I'm really impressed and sometimes I'm not. So from the last video you watched me apply Constellation Chemicals Moonlight, which is their glass sealant, which is actually holding up pretty damn well on these side windows 6 months on. I also applied Moonlight to the rear window, which you can see me rinsing off here. There does seem to be some remnants of some protection on there, but you'll see in a little bit what we do with that. Now that our pre-wash has been rinsed, I'm going to lay down a nice blanket of Infinity Wax Power Foam at roughly 1 to 20 in the snow foam lands. Again, I still haven't done my PIR calculation, so I couldn't tell you exactly what that is. So here I haven't actually bothered going in with any extra APC. This is just Alien Magic's detailing brush. I've had this brush for over a year and a half now, and I think the collar's just cracked on it because I left it in some water for too long. So I'll definitely be picking up one of these again in the future, as they're a really solid brush. So here's something I didn't end up using in my last video, which is Autoglanz Purge, which is a water spot and limescale remover. So while it's fairly useful for removing the limescale around badges that you might not get with a proper APC, it's also good for reviving the properties of ceramic coatings that may have been clogged by limescale, which is especially important in hard water areas like where I am. You can see that the product seems to unclog the ceramic coating on the right hand side of the rear window, revealing some of its water sheeting and beading properties that have otherwise been masked by the minerals found in hard water. Now for me, this begs the question of how many people believe their last stage protection has either died or needs retopping up, when in actual fact it's just been masked by minerals found in hard water, like shown here. Now using this application method, I definitely think using Purge in this fashion is definitely uneconomical for the whole car, which is where I think acidic shampoos come into play. I'm still yet to try any out, but I think my hypothesis stands strong. I'll be looking forward to trying that at some point in the future. Given the glass a final rinse down, you can see that the limescale remover has restored some of the properties of the ceramic coating on the glass. So finally, we're on to the contact wash. So this is just using my new G-Technic wash mitt and using some of Duel Auto Care's Bahama Blue shampoo. So the protection on this car has been long dead since it's been about 6 months since I applied it. So this week we're going to be using Duel Auto Care Oxide applied as a wet coat. The bottle explains to apply it you must apply it like a normal sort of QD where you just spray it onto the panel, wipe it over and buff it off. But on their Instagram the other day they said that you could apply it like a wet coat, so that's what I'm trying here. So right off the bat after applying it I can't say that the water behaviour is the best I've ever seen, so we'll have to rely on how long it lasts on the panel to give it a good verdict. But it's easy enough to apply and it didn't leave any streaking behind. The only drawback with the application method is the fact that you use a hell of a lot of product. So I've never really been massively impressed with this compared to its alternatives like Garage Therapy 2 Sigma. It's good to finally give it some use. So using Oxide as a drying aid or as the last stage protection has reduced the drying time of the car as most of the water is now sheeted off. So I'm just going over now with my big orange high definition details towel. I think the drying stage is probably the most boring part of this video, so you'll have to let me know if you even want me to include it in future videos. So the detail wouldn't be complete without dressing the back plastics. So here I'm using my favourite plastic dressing product, which is Koch-Chemie PSS, which I also use in the tyres a bit later on. So I'm just applying it here using a generic applicator block that's normally used for tyres, and then I'm going to give it a quick wipe down and a knock down with a microfiber towel. So that about wraps up this week's video. I'm going to leave you now with some shaky finishing shots as usual. If you've made it this far, please leave a like, subscribe and tell me what you think in the comments below. And I'll see you next time.